The Prime Minister has downplayed American news reports that the Pentagon is looking to base military drones on Australian territory. Julia Gillard hasn't completely ruled out the prospect as officials continue to bed down details of the new defence strategy agreed with President Obama last year. Political correspondent Tom Eagledon reports from Canberra.
A US media report says defence officials are eyeing the pristine and remote Australian territory of the Cocos Islands for their military potential. The islands are reportedly being looked at as an expansion for the overcrowded Diego Garcia Air Base, closer to military trouble spots in the Middle East. The Washington Post says US and Australian officials said the atoll could be an ideal site not only for manned US surveillance aircraft, but for global hawks, an unarmed, high-altitude surveillance drone. The report follows an agreement for closer military ties struck during President Obama's visit to Canberra last year, when the Defence Minister acknowledged a potential greater utilisation of the islands.
In terms of, progress on any of those matters since Minister Smith outlined them last November, there has not been any substantial progress.
But the Prime Minister isn't denying the Washington Post story.
Look, I'm not going to play a rule-in, rule-out game about something that's being discussed at officials level.
Defence matters of a different sort were on the Prime Minister's mind earlier in the day. Following on from the Queensland election defeat, news polls found Labor's primary federal vote continuing to drag at or under 30%, while the coalition continues to surge. The two-party preferred measure confirmed the coalition's election-winning position. Now about halfway through a full term, the Prime Minister says her policies need more time to cut it with voters.
Now, I understand that they are complicated policies and that they are not the kind of thing that is instantaneously popular.
And she says she'll stay the course even in the face of that disastrous Queensland election result.
But my job is to both listen and lead, and that's what I will be doing as Prime Minister.
The government says Tony Abbott's already acting like he's at the controls in Canberra.
This is the famous joystick. That's the one.
But he says he's taking nothing for granted.
I think that I'm the opposition leader.
Mr Abbott offered as proof the arduous regime of exercise he's keeping up, while the Prime Minister rubs shoulders with world leaders.
Do you think I'd be getting on my bike and pedalling 100 kilometres every day for 9 days if I thought that this thing was somehow in the bag?
Meanwhile, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees today confirmed what the Immigration Department's been saying for months, that asylum claims in Australia are falling, mostly due to lower boat arrivals. The UNHCR says there was a 9% drop last year compared to 2010, while in 44 other countries it surveyed, there was a 20% surge. The government says its failed Malaysia solution was a deterrent. The opposition says the government's delusional, and the Greens say they're both wrong.
Anyone who's suggesting that we're being flooded, that we need to start turning boats around, that we need to dump vulnerable people, men, women and children in foreign countries, there is just no facts to back up those policies.
Julia Gillard returns to Canberra tomorrow. Tom Eagledon, Late Line.